Man, it's a great day. I'm sitting with you, TJ.
It is a nice day.
Man, you know what? I these moments I cherish, bro.
Word.
Because, like I said, what they say, the next step is to meet there.
Facts.
But I'm back kicking it with you, bro.
What's up, brother?
Appreciate
Let's get it started, bro.
Talk to me, man.
All right, man. I'm your host, TJ Evans, with another installment of Untitled Discussion.
I just like to clap it up for you, bro. You, man, can I say, like, one thing I applaud you on, bro? You are consistent.
Try to be.
Man, ain't no trying. Trying is giving room for doubt. You actually doing that. So, double salute. You keep a lot of people on track, and you make sure, like, hey, we got to do these things. Even when I know it's hard to get individuals all together. So, man, I just double salute you, bro. Keep doing
Appreciate it, bro. And I thank you for that. And I just want to talk about what's going on in the world and the situations that we're dealing with.
Facts.
So, like y'all know, I'm your host, TJ Evans. This is Untitled Discussion. Do the YouTube and Rumble thing. Subscribe to the page. Like this video. Comment down below. And what do you think about the situation we're going to be talking about? And since, you know, you're here, say some stuff. Who are you and what do you do?
Well, I'm Chris. You make sure you spell it with a K. Christopher Harkless. What do I do? Man, just try to be a positive individual and try to be more of service to people. Ultimately, that's what I really want to do. And when I say be of service to people, I'm talking more on the aspect of like fitness and finances.
Work.
Those are the things, those are my two core areas that I like to focus on, but they branch out in many different things. So,
all right. And where can the people find you at?
You can actually check me out, Crazy Works, and it's KrazyWorks on Instagram, and then also I have crazyworks.biz on the internet. Come to my site.
True. Go to the site and check them out. I know we've had a conversation, and I'm not even gonna lie, I wanted to talk about the situation with Ocean Gate and the Submersible that they had imploded, and it was a little deeper than what I could do on my own segment show that I do, because it was a lot of stuff behind it. So as we know for a fact that it imploded, we know it imploded. 5 people lost their lives. A lot of people have been saying a lot of crazy stuff on the internet. And before we get into that specifically, I want to talk about the fact that it was all over the internet at first. Because that was the headline story that you could see on Instagram, on TikTok, in the newspapers, in the news media, on their channels and stuff like that. That was the only thing anybody was talking about. It kind of scared me a little bit because I was like, what else is going on in the world?
Well, for the moment, that's all that was going on in the world, in my opinion. I mean, it's just, when you say what, it's so much, man. And that's what, like, so many distractions, so many things going on here and there. But one thing I like to gauge society on is, like, what is it that everybody's talking about? And anytime I look at a post or any news feed, the cool thing that I think about today is you're actually getting a chance to see the comments. Like, how do people actually feel? And, dog, I don't even think people human anymore. Like, it's a tragedy, you know, anybody lose their life, especially like that. Like, you talking about somebody is on a submarine and that shit's imploding on you. You know what I'm saying?
Like a can crash.
Bruh, unimaginable. And it's like, they may have done, you may not agree with what they've done, but these folks got families at the end of the day.
True.
And I just, like I said, we talk about one thing that's missing in the world is just genuine compassion and love. And dog, I was seeing some comments and I was just like, God damn. And it was so crazy because a specific, I ain't even gonna go too deep into that. I'm just more so like, with everything else going on in the world, you would think you would bring light to these situations versus creating memes about. Man, I done seen so much.
I ain't gonna lie, we're literally gonna go that deep right now, because before we get into that, I just want to say it was kind of funny when I was watching it. I was like, it seems more so as a distraction.
Okay.
Because the whole time that was going on, we had the whole Joe Biden, because we're going to get into politics real quick, but Joe Biden and his administration, they accidentally had an accounting error where they sent $6.2 billion to Ukraine. And nobody talked about that. And then we have his son, Hunter Biden, who actually got off on pretty much tax evasion, 2 charges, $1 million+ that he didn't pay. And also he actually got a plea deal, or is getting a plea deal for a gun charge. This is why he's smoking crack. And anybody else with the gun charge alone would get 10 years. But with taxes, they locked up Al Capone, and let's just go to modern day, they locked up Wesley Snipes and Ronald Isley for tax evasion. So usually people don't get off on that. So that's the funny thing that people wasn't even paying attention to, and that's what went under the radar. That's what kind of spooked me.
Time. They locked Ronald Isley up.
Yeah.
D Ronald boys to Atlantis?
You don't get off on tax evasion. And that was the funny thing about it. It was like, why is the whole news media focused on this while other things are going on?
Man, shit. As always, who can really say like this is specifically what's going on? But then I always put the mirror back on to individuals. Like, why would you even allow that? Like, I thought that all powers to the people. The government is supposed to actually represent what the people want and view. And that's what I'm saying. Like, the whole world just, we ain't right. We just not right. To allow these things to happen on U.S. soil, and you proud to be an American, and you not, I don't know, man. Then I would be a hypocrite, because I'm like, well, shit, what do you do? What can you do?
I think the first thing that you can do as an American citizen is actually pay attention to what's going on.
Okay.
So anytime that they just plaster stuff on the news media, anything on social media, you always have to remember in the back of your head, there's a man behind the curtain.
Okay. Wizard of Oz type.
Yeah, there's always a man behind the curtain. They're putting this in your face for a reason, just so they won't let you pay attention to what's really going on. Let's not get it confused. The news media, the government, big tech, all these folks are working together.
Oh, facts.
And the reason why they're working together is because, major reason, the government doesn't want to go against your constitutional rights. They don't want to put it in your face. But what they will do is talk to these corporations. So just like how we already know the First Amendment right is freedom of speech.
Oh boy, it ain't that.
But they dodge it because they work with big tech, and they say shut out this account. They don't tell you that they're saying shut out this account because they're saying some things. But what they will say is, this is a private company, so you can't get mad at it.
You go against the what is it? User guidelines.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a loophole, and that's probably one of the greatest things that's been happening, is because a lot of things have been getting exposed. So I want to go back to the point, because I really want to dig deep in the point that you were talking about with the submarine, is how people are reacting to it. Because we've been so desensitized that we're able to actually sit here and dehumanize our own brothers and sisters. I'm not saying as a color wise, but I'm saying brothers and sisters as in human beings.
Facts. Man, it's so crazy. I even seen that like everything is a joke, and it's not, that shit ain't funny. Like even when I take it back, even when I seen like Tina Turner pass, and I seen a meme where they had Ike looking down. That shit, look,
God dang it.
See that what I'm saying, man? We don't give a fuck. We don't care. Man, I heard Charleston White say something and it touched me because it alarmed me too. He was speaking on I forgot
and go
what
follow Charleston White.
Man,
he got some gold.
Dog. I seen him talk to these dudes and they were he was saying black folks are starting to turn into the oppressors that lynched you. And they come around and just look at you, have a picnic, probably chop off pieces of your body and just, bro, we turning into them folks, man. We evil, dog. We evil.
And I think that I talked to you about that. It was like, it's a Stockholm syndrome thing. Like we've turned into our captors.
And that ain't cute. That ain't it.
And I won't even say it so much as just with white individuals. I would say it is also like just people in general that we have this anger in us.
Right.
This people have the ability to be as evil as possible. And then forget that.
It just be like, oh well, it is what it is. Like y'all, that's what I'm saying. Like the things we should be counseling, well, we don't give a fuck about it. We don't give a damn about it.
But it was so crazy with the whole Submersible situation with OceanGate. It's like people don't care about these individuals because they were billionaires. But it's like, bro, you just sound like a dude that's pocket watching.
Dog, I beg to differ. It ain't even. It could have been anybody. Just the situation. If you can make a joke about it, we gonna make a joke about it. And it shows you how crazy this groupthink is. The internet is just whoever came up with this brilliant, right? So if you really want to control the masses and get everybody on the same page, put a post out. Yeah. See how many people like it. Matter of fact, if you put a little money behind it, we'll shop it out there for you. We will push that message out. We've seen history where subliminal messaging is real. You see enough of it on your timeline, on your screen, whatever, you start to embody that. You start to accept that. And it's crazy, bro. It's just, like I said, I don't know what need to happen, but I'm scared what must happen if we don't get it right ourselves.
I would say what must happen is kind of what's happening right now, because this situation is exposing the real issue that's going on in humanity. We, like I said, we've been desensitized to certain things.
Right.
We have no love for our fellow man. We have a situation where we're dealing with that people don't believe in God.
I don't believe in nothing, no.
And once you don't believe in God, you really won't have any love for your fellow man, because I love you because I know that you're made in the image of God, first and foremost. And once I take that away, it is nothing for me to get rid of you. It is nothing for me to sit here and say if you lost your life means nothing to me. But you mean something to me because of that image that you have. And no matter how much, and I've been watching it, I've been seeing so many videos on TikTok and on Instagram where people will sit here and actually say out their face when we're talking about a submersible that they're like, well, those are billionaire problems. That has nothing to do with me.
Nah. I'm sorry. Can I just interject? It's so funny that we talk about, and that's, oh man, excuse me. Let me bring it back. Those are billionaire problems, right? It has nothing to do with us.
That's what I heard.
That's what you hear. But here it is. You got the biggest thing right now that's alarming to me. These kids killing each other. Is that your problem yet? You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. What is something that you just gonna stand on? Because you ain't saying nothing about these kids killing each other. Yeah. You ain't trying to do nothing. Nobody's trying to mentor anybody. And it's so crazy. I was having a conversation with, like, I call him my old street partner. And it's not even, he's an old street mentor. And he showed me street shit. But he was like, man, don't do that. Just stay away from that, right? He was talking about how he would walk down the street and he see young folks. He moved to the other side. I said, boy, you scared of young people? You scared of kids? But that's what it is. How can you say, like, we about to create a better tomorrow and you scared of the kids, dog? They comparing them to the children in the corn.
They should.
It's crazy.
They actually should, because
it's crazy.
if we're gonna be factual, they're literally possessed. They have demons on them, and that's the cool thing about what's been going on with this year, is because people are being exposed to it. So let's say we just talk about this Submersible real quick. What's been going on is people are not caring about what's been happening with them. Some people, but others are paying attention to real life. They're paying attention to, like, why is this all over my news feed? Why is this a thing that I should pay attention to? And they're starting to dig deeper, even to the point where a lot of people are exposing the fact that the government knew about what happened to the Submersible even before the search parties went out. The Navy knew what happened. The Navy heard the implosion. They knew it on the first or second day. And the same thing with the Bud Light situation, why Anheuser-Busch is losing a lot of money, because it's exposing people to the fact that they're attacking your kids. They're trying to sell alcohol to your kids. So people, like, a lot of people are waking up to it. I don't know if it's too late or not, but those two stories are potentially the things that is going to change the course of history.
You think it's that big?
Yes. The Bud Light had lost Anheuser-Busch, who owns Bud Light, they lost over 27%. They lost over 27% in profits. They lost all the profits for this year.
So they are automatically operating in the negative.
Yeah. And so that's why certain things are going on with Target and things like that, where people are not even paying attention to it, and why people are going out against Pride Month and all this stuff. Same thing with the Submersible thing. It's like, oh snap, there are individuals out here who are sitting here trying to tell us that we should pay attention to this more than what's actually going on in the White House. There are people out here saying that we should focus on this one story, but at the same time we're losing taxpayer money. There are people actually recognizing that individuals are actually joking about what's going on with the individuals who lost their lives and dehumanizing them. That it's like, bro, where are we at in society?
Evil, bro. We won't kill no more. I was having a conversation with just some clients, and I was asking, like, how long you been living in your house, right? Been over 20 years. And I was like, well, how many neighbors do you know? How many of your neighbors that you've been there for 20 years, all these houses around you, how many people have you talked to? Well, nobody really come outside. It's like we try, and I'm just like, that's crazy. Because growing up, like, I'm from the South. Good country boy. Raised up in Decatur, but still, like, from all over South. Georgia. From the South, likewise. From the South. You did? What? Bro, we never met a stranger. You know who family, who, like, we knew everything. And it wasn't on the fact of, oh, you knows as hell. Nah, that's just how we operate, man. Because if you see some unidentified person lurking around, hey, you don't belong over there. Hey, you know such looking at your house, right? We don't care enough about each other. And my thing is, like with a child, it takes a village to raise a child, right?
Yeah.
Bro, it really starts with a village. Where's the village? Where do you have neighbors around here that you can lean on and be like, hey, I be out of town, check on my house. Well, ain't nobody, we don't trust nothing, nobody. Like, it's just crazy. And I feel like I'm in the twilight zone.
And I think the only reason why it kind of feels like the twilight zone is because, especially with the internet, you're more exposed to it. And we're in this weird space in our life because we've survived without the internet, dog. And now we see people who have the internet, and it's just like, yeah, but y'all putting out a bunch of crap on there. It's like, people are unable to survive without their cell phone. We've lived through a time where we didn't need a cell phone.
Bruh, you remember payphones.
Yeah,
Come on.
Exactly,
If
bro.
it was that important, you probably left me a voicemail. I'll check that at the house.
And that's why I laugh at people who be like, hey, my child needs a cell phone. It's like, I didn't have one growing up.
Right. But it's so crazy how society, in the news, the media, they put fear into you. Well, hell, you damn near doing a disservice if your child doesn't have a cell phone. Because so much, like, bro, they done got us so terrified that you can't go down the street without somebody talking about, oh, man, they open fire on somebody. Like, it's just crazy, man. I don't know what has happened, but it's just, this ain't the world that I'm used to, bro. I came up in a time where, bro, I would have never heard no shit like this before.
And it's because stuff was going on, yes.
True.
There was always
True.
things going on. But to the point where it is now, no.
Right.
No. These kids have no regard for human life. There's many a time where I've seen on YouTube or on Instagram where they talk about another dead rapper. But anytime they're talking about a new dead rapper, this rapper is like 14.
So here's another thing that I was exposed to, and it just had me thinking, bro, when did we have kids telling us street stories? When did we have kids telling us how to get money and flip dope? That was what your OG talk about. It's so many, bro. It was so many rules before you even jumped off the porch. Like, a lot of times you had to take an oath. You couldn't even it's different, man. It's like the way I was brought up, taught, like, there's null and void, no.
And again, that's why I go back to saying that this Submersible story, the story with Bud Light, and even with I don't know if you heard of them, DJ Academics.
I hear about it. You know what? And it's so funny. Like, before you say this, before you talk about DJ Academics, I can remember a time when Nipsey tried to warn everybody about him. Nipsey tried, hey man, you got to stop letting these folk control the narrative. Because I understand he's a journalist, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But he bring light, and whenever you bring light, you bring attention. Yeah. Whenever you bring attention, you bring an awareness. And now people think like, oh, that must be normal. If you don't denounce that shit and show something else to compare it to, like this is what you should be doing, bro, all you doing, it's almost like you participating in the shit too.
Yeah. But what DJ Academics did with the war in Chirac, people would not pay attention to what's going on in Chicago if he didn't do that.
Time. You and I both know this. The shit that go on in Chirac is the shit that go on in Atlanta.
Yeah.
Is the shit that go, bro, you're glorifying that shit.
But it seemed like he was glorifying, but when we talk about, yes, violence happens everywhere, but statistically, when we talk about the population and all that stuff, yeah, the stuff that's going on in Chicago is a little different. Like, okay. It's just a little different. But what I'm saying is like these certain things has actually brought a light to it. Like, sunlight is the best disinfectant.
Dog.
So you, like, when you pay attention to it, when somebody shines a light on it, it will probably help fix the situation a little more. Like what happened with the Jim Crow era.
Okay.
If Martin Luther King when it came out, if what happened with Rosa Parks when it happened, then nobody would have really paid attention to it. What happened with Emmett Till, there's a reason why people was like, oh, snap. Wait, time out. Racism is real?
Okay.
Like, his mama had to show the face.
So, I understand where you're coming from with that. But then you would have to look at it like, okay, so with all that, with that light being shown, there was an action plan. There was something that changed. All this going on, what is it getting better or is it getting worse? Are you influencing other kids to do this? You know what I'm saying? Are you making a positive change? And bro, it's not, man. These folks still self-incriminating. Bro, I heard, oh my goodness, that thing going on with Casanova. Like, when the shit really get thick and you sitting in that cell and you going through that shit, motherfucker, boy, I wish I never would did that. They denouncing it. I shouldn't. I would lay it wrong. I thought this was what I was supposed to be. No, this ain't it. And by then, it's, hate to say, I don't think it's a such thing as too late. But you went so deep, boy. It's hard to find a way out.
I mean, no, there's nothing wrong with saying that it's too late, because for some people, it's a little too late for them, because they're not too late to get saved and get right with God, but too late to actually be out here on the street.
So, Marcus Garvey once said, and I'm paraphrasing it, so I'm not quoting it correctly, but Marcus Garvey was talking about, if you in here and you aware of what you're doing and it's for a good cause, prison should be like living in your living room. He chilling in that motherfucker. Because we got to think about it too. Like, all great, like, civic leaders, activists, jail a part of it.
Yeah.
Sitting down is a part of it. What are you doing with your time while you sitting down? Are you writing, trying to change the youth? Are you giving a detailed account? Did you go to prison for something worthy? You know what I'm saying?
I understand
so
that.
He may not have went to prison for something worthy, but he could tell folks like, boy, this shit is hell. Don't do that.
You got my body, you can't lock up my mind. Work.
Come on. Shit like that. So it's just, like I said, we allowing the wrong narrative to be told, and we not doing what we got to do. Like, hey, this ain't how we operate.
But the exposure is needed. That's what I'm saying. That's why, like, even mentioning him in that situation, like DJ Academics in that, it was like he exposed something. Like, it has to be shown, because Boys in the Hood, what they don't know won't show. Like Ice Cube told you, and like, you have to actually see it.
Okay.
And let's say, yeah, some people can see it and they can use that as inspiration to do wrong. But some individuals can see it and they can use it as an inspiration to do right.
Okay.
You're not gonna save everybody.
No, not at all.
But some folks you actually can save and stop them from doing all the way wrong. Everybody who was in the streets, some of those individuals actually went another way after they got a little too thick.
Right.
So that exposure is helpful. Like,
what did it help?
It may not have helped everybody, but there are some individuals who was touched by it.
I got to get some examples, because only thing that I'm seeing is more death, more glorification, more shitting on people. I got this. And then it's like, how you tell somebody that coming from the bottom, coming from poverty, we spoke on this, like, when you raised with a father in the house, a positive male role model, a real dad, you kind of move a little bit different, right? At the end of the day, you are still projecting this image out to people whose minds can be formed off anything because they don't have proper guidance. Now, are you responsible for those people? Here we go again with talking about accountability and responsibility. Just like I was reading this book, Niggas the Gods, and it put so much into my mind, and it was speaking on, like, crabs in a bucket. These crabs keep pulling each other down. But a bucket is not a crab's natural habitat. So, with that being said, do you just blame everything on that crab, or do you blame the people that create the conditions of this bucket? Because the bucket wasn't supposed to be here. This image ain't supposed to be out here like that. The image of the youth is supposed to be like, hey, you can do whatever you want to. You can be great. Hell, you might not even want to be a rapper. You need to start looking at becoming a CEO, or hey, create a distribution channel. Like, you need to start looking at this instead of this. This is a distraction.
But even if you, all right, let's just use that. We have a problem with being pragmatic.
Okay. Go deeper.
All right, so
go deeper first.
Let's say if the bucket is not supposed to be where we're supposed to be at, right?
Okay. But
you have to deal with the situation that you're in.
Okay.
Hip hop music would have never came along unless we was over here. Sorry, it's just fact of the matter.
Hip hop music would have never happened if we came over here.
If we didn't come over here, we adapted to certain situations.
Well, okay, so hip hop, in my understanding, hip hop was storytelling of what's going on in their society from your viewpoint.
In our current situation, that's where it was birthed from.
Right.
So people were being pragmatic.
That shit really come from up north, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we had to deal with what we're dealing with right here.
Okay.
So that's what I'm saying. It's like we can't sit here and blame or point fingers and say this is why we're in the situation because of this. Okay. No, I want to say that we just have to be pragmatic and deal with the situation. It's the same thing when I hear people talk about poverty and crime. People blame crime on poverty. That's not the case. The reason why poverty comes about is because of crime in the most hand. Let's say take a city like San Francisco.
Okay.
It was a glorious city. A lot of people want to move there and all that. San Francisco is the worst city to live in right now. Why? And it's because of crime.
Okay.
So people are paying attention, and again, it's a good thing, and that's why certain major stories are really helping people actually open their eyes to the things that's going on, is because it's like, bro, the reason why I don't want to move to San Francisco, the reason why I don't want to move to California in general, is because of the crime.
Okay.
And it's because that crime has been able to happen. They said that, hey, we're not going to charge anybody for shoplifting if you steal under $1,000 worth of goods. But that's going to make people move their shops out. That's going to make Walmart move. That's going to make, like, Sears move. That's going to make the stores close down and all that stuff. What happens when the stores close down? People can't find jobs.
That's poverty. So, even what you talking about California, everybody know the cost of living out that motherfucker too damn high. Way too high.
And they vote for it.
They vote. Hey, they know not what they do.
They vote for it. But now people are waking up to it because they're recognizing these different stories that's going on. Like just when I said, again, I'm going to go back to the whole Bud Light thing. People are like parents. Mm-hmm. Parents are starting to wake up to the things that these teachers and what's going on in these pride parades and how these school administrations are actually introducing homosexuality to these kids. They're starting to pay attention to it just because Bud Light decided to have a caricature of a woman, Dylan McAvaney, like come out and be a sponsor for them, and they was like, wait, time out. Why are y'all trying to sell beer to kids by using a trans woman? I think that's what it's called, a dude who want to be a girl. All right, and they just started paying attention to it, and that's when they was like, hold on, wait, y'all are selling porn books in our middle schools? And they started waking up to it. Same thing with the Submersible thing. Like, everybody's not paying attention to it, but a lot of people are starting to wake up to it. It's like, hold on, wait, y'all knew these people was gone because the Navy told y'all, but y'all had us focused on this, and yet we lost $6.2 billion in taxes because y'all decided to lose it. So people are paying attention to that.
That's a whole nother topic with that Ukraine thing. Because but it seems like everybody can get a reparation, but niggas. Man, I got the jet.
But then we finna get out of here.
Okay.
But even when we talk about we can talk about reparations and all that stuff. But even if people pay attention to reparations, that's why I say pay attention to who you vote for, because it's like, bro, we was offered reparations by Abraham Lincoln, one of his generals in the Union Army.
What happened with that?
He proposed reparations, but then the next president who came up, I think it was Andrew.
Okay.
Andrew Johnson. Andrew Johnson. He was a Democratic president, and he was like, "Nah, we ain't gonna give reparations." So even when we talk about reparations, a lot of individuals got reparations. Like, let's say the Jews after the Holocaust, it was right after.
Right.
Same thing with the Japanese people in the United States who was in internment camp. They got it right after. So,
but I will give them this though. Ain't nobody experienced 460 years.
We didn't experience it.
How many years?
1619 to 1865.
1619 to 1865. How many years is that? 2?
That's a little over 200.
Okay, cut me in half. So even if you say 200 years, they ain't experienced 200 years of mistreatment.
No, they didn't.
No, not even close.
But it's the thing that we have to pay attention to.
Facts. So, we say we end slavery, what, 1895? 1865. 1965 is 100 years. Mm-hmm. So, 2065 would be 200 years.
Yeah.
Shit, we still got time. If you ask me.
But then that's when we get into the whole conversation of who's going to get reparations, because of the simple fact that we let in a whole lot of immigrants. And also, you have to remember that black people
are still getting reparations.
You have to remember that black people own slaves as well.
Facts.
So
Thanks.
who gets the slaves? It's just so much.
But that's why you really need to. That's why I keep saying focus on think tanks. We need to have solutions to this
Work.
shit. But we just, like I said, we worried about imploding and making memes and talking about Tina Turner. We ain't think about the right shit, man.
But at the end of the day, I'm glad you sat here and talked to me. Love each other, bro. Like, stop forgetting no matter what somebody got in they paycheck or in their bank account and all this stuff. Understand that we all are made in the image of God, bro. There's no reason to sit here and just be making, like, I understand jokes is funny and all that cool stuff on the internet.
But everything ain't supposed to be funny.
Come on, man. People lost their lives, and at least give it 10 years before you start making jokes about it. That's all I'm saying. But I'm your host, TJ Evans, and this is another installment of Untitled Discussion. I'm sitting here with my boy,
Chris with a motherfucking K. Not with a. Oh, Chris with a K. I'm sorry.
Chris with a K, man. Y'all do the YouTube and Rumble thing. Subscribe to the page. Like this video. Comment down below and tell me your input on this. Also, check out my book on Amazon, The Diary of Marvin DeWayne. Y'all stay safe. Stay prayed up, man. Love your fellow man. Peace.